All right, we're live. We're live. All right, we're live. All right, guys. We are live. Today's stream is about this YouTuber I found called His Story. Hold on, let me fix my microphone. No, not high enough. Testing. Testing. Too high. Testing. All right. Today. No, that was a good. Okay. Today. All right, that's fine. Let's start with his newest video.
I was watching a zoo snake show when the cobra lunged and bit the volunteer's hand, and his smile dropped into a scream. I immediately stood up because I'm a zoologist and knew he had 30 minutes before the venom stopped his heart. A woman recording screamed, "That's my husband! Someone help him!" with her 2 kids crying at her legs. The zoo handler panicked and started tying a belt above the bite to save him, but I shoved.
That's not gonna do anything. Like, what do you think? It's just gonna stop the poison? Like, what are we doing?
Through the crowd. "That belt will kill him faster. Call an ambulance and don't move him." Every face turned to me like I was insane, but I knew if they didn't listen to me soon, they'd kill him. "If you move him, the venom reaches his heart faster. He needs to stay still until the medics arrive." But the handler shoved me back, flashing his badge. "Shut up! I'm trained for this. Step away now." The crowd sided with him, and I watched him yank the belt tighter as the husband's fingers turned purple, every second pumping venom straight to his heart. So I dropped to my knees beside the volunteer and begged him to lie still, but he was staring at his kids. "I need to get to my kids." He started crawling toward them, but if he kept
Bro, you're dying. What? What?
moving, he would die in front of them. So I held him down, and the wife screamed, "He's trying to kill my husband." Then the handler,
How, bro? It's not like he even did anything. Like, what? Hold on, let me check the stream's still active. Alright, we're good.
ripped me off of him, and the husband dragged himself across the concrete toward his kids. But halfway there, his arms buckled and his eyelids started drooping shut, and my blood ran cold because I knew he only had seconds left. So I swung and knocked the handler flat, then threw myself over the husband and pinned him down so he'd stop moving. The wife
You really have to do all that, bro.
clawed at my back, screaming for someone to pull me off, but I kept my weight.
I'm back. I'm just checking out my school schedule. Alright. Yo, bro, this is a fire schedule. First period history, second period algebra, then we got ELA, and then science. We got all the good stuff out of the way in the first few periods. Then my last 3 periods are PE, band, and team sports, bro. This is peak. Wait, hold on. Let me do something real quick. And what's this other paper say? Alright, bro. Hold on. Stream's on pause for a minute. Alright, hold on. Let me go to my school Discord. It's elite. Elite, bro. This year's about to be peak. Last year, I had PE in second period, bro. This is elite, bro. Elite. Yo, I got the good PE teacher too. Hold on. Let me just transform, fit the screen. Wait, no, I'm supposed to put this one on top. Elite, bro. Elite. Oh, bro, this is about to be peak. Thank the heavens, bro. Hold on, gotta get one of my elite gifts. Where is this gift, bro? Alright, back to the stream. Let me just stuff these aside here. Okay.
On him. His breaths were getting shorter under me, and I didn't know if he'd make it. Then tires screeched, and 2 paramedics shoved through the crowd. One took one look at me and yelled, "Yes, keep him still."
I mean, you shouldn't like go on top of him though, because then you could like push air out of his lungs and waste his air. You should just like keep him down on his sides.
The whole crowd went quiet as they looked at the handler with disgust. The paramedics pushed the anti-venom in, but he
Bro, the handler's dead, bro. Did you see that elbow? Like,
purple, every of them, so I held him down. Eyelids started drooping shut. Trying to kill my husband, then the handler staring at his kids. I need to get to my kids. He started crawling toward them, but if he kept moving, he would die in front of them. So I held him down, and the wife off of him, and the husband dragged himself across the concrete toward his kids. But halfway there, his arms buckled and his eyelids started drooping shut, and my blood ran cold, because I knew he only had seconds left. So I swung.
just like knocked out, bro.
And knocked the handler flat, then threw myself over the
Did you see that? Okay, this is the first short, and he's basically already a superhuman, bro. Like, you see that jump? He jumped all the way over there. Knocked him down with just a light tap of his elbow.
Husband and pinned him down. One took one look at me and yelled, "Yes, keep him still." The whole crowd went quiet as they looked at the handler with disgust. The paramedics pushed the anti-venom in, but he shook his head. "He's going to lose the arm because of the belt, but you saved his life by not letting them move him." The wife sank down beside me. "I'm so sorry," as his kids ran into his arms. He almost died trying to reach them.
What? Shouldn't they have to take out his arm now? Before it spreads?
Now he finally could. I was watching as
the anti-venom just stop that?
I peeled a lottery ticket off the pavement under my tire and read, "Win $47. I couldn't believe my luck because I had only pulled into that gas station to steal napkins from the hot dog counter because I was too broke to afford toilet paper. Score! My celebration startled the man at the air pump so badly he dropped the hose. His eyes moved
That's a nice car.
from the ticket to me. "Is that yours?" I folded it once. "It is now." I started walking inside, already picturing a 12-pack of 2-ply, but the man sprinted past me, shoved the door open and yelled, "He stole my winning ticket."
What do you need that ticket for? It's $47. Have you seen your car, bro? Son. It's $47.
The cashier looked up as I came in behind him with the ticket still in my hand. "It was under my tire." The man pointed at the black mark across one corner. "Because you parked on it." I slapped the ticket on the counter and kept my palm over it. The cashier looked from him to me. "You're fighting over parking lot trash." I looked at the toilet paper shelf behind him. "It's not trash. It's my ticket to 2-ply comfort." Then I pushed it toward the scanner. The man grabbed the far edge before it reached the machine, and I pulled back because, trash or not, that ticket was still the only thing between me and another handful of stolen napkins. The cashier lifted both hands. "If you rip the barcode, I can't scan it." The man yanked harder, and for one stupid second, I yanked back harder too. The ticket split down the middle, sending us both stumbling backward. He crashed into the candy rack while I knocked over a beef jerky display, and the cashier snatched my half from the floor before I could even stand up. Other piece. The man slid his half onto the counter, and we both leaned in while the cashier lined up the torn barcode.
What am I gonna do?
Under the scanner. The machine beeped once. Not a winner flashed on the screen. The cashier turned the ticket around and tapped the tiny words under the prize box. "It says win up to $47. Did either of you read that part?" The man backed away without looking at me. I looked from the toilet paper shelf to the hot dog counter, grabbed the biggest fistful of napkins I could carry, and ran.
You did all that just for toilet paper, bro.
My son wanted to be the next Ronaldo, but he watched his first and last World Cup from a hospital bed.
Dang.
The first thing I ever put in his hands was a football.
Enrique, bro. Nothing like a teddy bear. Not even like, like the thing that they put inside their mouths to go like the thing that babies suck on. Just a soccer ball, the same size as him.
The day he was born. By 3, he slept with it. By 5, he wore the number 7 and hit the CO every time he scored on me.
Didn't even try, bro. You didn't even try.
leaping into the air, arms out, shouting it so loud the whole street could
You didn't even try to make it look like you were gonna try.
hear. He told the woman at the supermarket, the man who fixed our car, anyone who would listen, that he'd play in a World Cup one day. But the summer he turned 8, the headaches started, the scans came back, and a doctor told us
Prediction? Something's eating his brain from the inside.
it was cancer, that
Dang, bro.
he'd never run on a pitch again, and that we didn't have long.
But it's in his brain.
In the ward, the football that used to live at his feet just sat at the end of the bed. He stopped asking to go outside. He'd loop old matches on my phone, mouthing the commentary he already knew by heart. When the foundation
I thought you said he watched his first and last World Cup. He's 8 years old, which means he already watched one World Cup when he was 4. What? What are we doing, bro?
told him he could have anything in the world, I was already doing the math, ready to sell the car and fly us anywhere to get him onto a real pitch with the players he loved. He thought about it for a long time, then tugged my sleeve. I just want to watch the final, with you. I had to turn toward the window so he wouldn't see my face, because the final was 5 weeks out, and the doctors hadn't promised me 5 weeks. He got smaller after that, sleeping through whole afternoons, and by the week of the final, the nurses had stopped meeting my eyes in the hallway. I counted the days out loud to him anyway, not knowing if he'd be awake to hear the whistle. He made it. We propped him up on the pillows, his jersey on, the football tucked under his arm. His team went a goal down in the second half. He grabbed my hand. "They'll score, Dad. Watch." Late in the game they scored, and the whole stadium on the screen came apart, but he was too weak to leap up and shout it the way he had 1,000 times. He just pulled the football into his chest, the same one I gave him the day he was born, and breathed it
I thought the ball was yellow.
out instead. Sew. A tear ran
See you.
down the side of his face. He fell asleep that night smiling, holding it. He never woke up. My son spent his whole life wanting to play in a World Cup, and his last night holding a football through one. My son
Dang, bro.
My teacher told me to stay back after class to discuss my behavior issues, so I immediately slapped her across the
What? What?
My teacher told me to stay back after class to discuss my behavior issues, so I immediately slapped her across the face. She fell to the floor, and I covered my mouth in horror. "I'm sorry, miss. I can't control it. You see, I'd had surgery as a kid. Doctors separated the right and left sides of my brain to treat my epilepsy, but it
Does that actually
left me
work?
with a rogue left.
This sep-
My son wanted to be the next Ronaldo, but he watched his first and
Does separating the left and right sides of your brain treat epilepsy? I cannot type. Oh, it does.
My teacher told me to stay back after class to discuss my behavior issues, so I immediately slapped her across the face. She fell to the floor, and I covered my mouth in horror. "I'm sorry, miss. I can't control it. You see, I'd had surgery as a kid. It left me with a rogue left arm, meaning I physically couldn't control it, and it did things on its own without me wanting to." My teacher yelled, "To the principal's office, now," and dragged me while I screamed it was my rogue limb. The principal sighed, "I already called your mom. You can't keep being violent because of this made-up condition," but I punched him in the face before he finished
Okay, bro. 2 in a row.
his sentence. He clutched his nose, and I instantly grabbed the school trophy off his desk and hurled it at his
Okay, this isn't even an accident anymore. This isn't even an
head.
accident.
He fell and screamed, "I'm calling the cops," while I cried and begged them to believe I couldn't control it. But then my left arm reached for the principal's prized paint
No, bro. You're telling me it just knows how to hurt people.
ball gun. He'd hung it behind a glass as the last thing his father left him, but I simply punched through.
You can't just punch through unless you're controlling it, bro.
The glass shattered, and I grabbed the paintball gun and aimed it at him. My teacher lunged to snatch it from me, but I shoved her.
No, that was with his right arm. That was with his right arm. You saw that, right? That was with his right arm. Did anybody in the comments see this? No, bro. Exactly. It was he knows he's doing this. It's not a fluke. He knows. Does he know?
Simply punched through. The glass shattered, and I grabbed the paintball gun and aimed it at him. My teacher lunged to snatch it from me, but I shoved her to the ground and started going Rambo on my principal with his own father's paintball gun. I wrestled the gun away with my right arm, but that's when my teacher tackled me. Tears ran from my face as I begged them to believe me, but they yelled, "You're going to prison." An officer walked in and saw my principal covered in paintball and bruises on his face, but I felt my left arm instantly curl into a fist. The principal screamed, "This boy is violent. He destroyed property and assaulted me." The cop went to ask me if this was true, and in response, my left arm punched him.
What? What? That's like 5 times in a row. 5 direct hits, bro. It's not a fluke. When he was aiming the gun and shooting it, he knew which finger he was pulling. He's not tough.
Square in the jaw. He dropped, and I screamed, "No," because I knew assaulting an officer meant my was cooked. The cop got up and immediately pulled out handcuffs. I started crying as he put my hands behind my back, but that's
probably not even gonna do anything.
when the door opened. My mom was panting with a stack of medical papers. Whatever's happening is not his fault. I have the proof right here. She shoved them at the officer, and I backed away from everyone so I couldn't hit them. I watched the officer's face twist as he read. Then he shook his head in disbelief. "This is insane, but this actually stops me from being able to arrest you. Whatever your left arm does is legally not your doing." He tucked his handcuffs away and walked out without another word. The principal and teacher went red, and that's when my left arm rose up and gave them the middle finger. My best friend Felix walked into our school dance in a full creeper costume while everyone else was dressed in suits and ties.
I have a prediction. He is gonna become the most popular kid at the dance.
He pointed, "See Sabrina over there? I've been in love with her since kindergarten, and tonight I'm finally gonna ask her out." His creeper costume looked legit, and I laughed while pointing at the "No smoke allowed" sign. "Are you going to explode or something?" He leaned in. "Just watch. You'll see." His creeper legs floated toward the dance floor as I sat there wondering if a kid in a creeper costume could actually pull this off. Kids started to back away from the creeper costume as Felix passed, clearing a straight path right to Sabrina. Then some guy pointed and yelled, "Creeper! Oh man, he's gonna explode!" Sabrina turned to look, but then our principal bolted across the room and
Who
grabbed
is he?
Felix by the creeper's square head.
Hold on. Thought his hand was bigger than his
I
head.
will not let you destroy my dance and blow it up. My office now. Felix's creeper legs started squirming, and he had no arms to fight back. My stomach dropped, and I couldn't let my bro go out like this. So I screamed, pointing at a random kid by the punch bowl. "Principal, he's spiking the punch with mystery liquid. Help!" The principal quickly let go and charged toward the punch table.
Son. Enrique.
Snatching the kid by the collar so fast he dropped his cup and burst into tears. "It wasn't me!" Kids came sprinting from every corner to see the meltdown, and that bought Felix his window, and he slipped through the chaos towards Sabrina. He let out a loud creeper hiss. She spun around, and his whole costume exploded in a cloud of smoke as the entire dance screamed and ducked. When the smoke cleared, Felix stood there.
No.
In a sharp suit and tie with a rose between his teeth, and Sabrina's jaw dropped. "They say creepers destroy everything, but I just wanted to blow you away."
That's Riz. He learned from the best.
Will you go out with me? She opened her mouth to answer, but just then, the smoke hit the ceiling and the sprinklers burst on, soaking the entire dance as everyone shrieked. The principal grabbed Felix by the collar. I knew you'd destroy my dance. You're suspended.
What about the kid with the mystery liquid?
But as he dragged Felix off dripping wet, Sabrina screamed across the flooded gym. I've loved Minecraft since kindergarten. Yes, Felix grinned. Best explosion of my life. My best friend Felix walked in a random service.
Oh, that's not bad.
I was rattling my cup for money. A random service dog ran across the park and pressed his paw into my leg. I immediately shot up because a service dog that was alone meant its owner was in trouble. Let's go, boy. He tore back across the grass and stopped at a woman in a wheelchair with a man standing behind her. She looked completely fine, but the dog leaned into her chair and stared at me, so I crouched down to get a better look. Are you doing okay? She nodded her head violently, but the dog let out a low whine and wedged himself between the man and her chair. The man rested a hand on her shoulder and smiled. We're good, man. She doesn't talk much, but her knuckles were white on the armrests, and tears were sliding down her face while she kept nodding. I gave the dog a pat and backed off. Oh, okay, my bad, folks. But as soon as I turned around, I called 911 and spoke quietly. I trained.
You think he can't hear you? Just because you're speaking quietly doesn't mean, like, he sees you turn around and immediately call someone.
Service dogs, and I know a real alert when I see one. A woman's being held against her will at the center park. They told me to stay on the phone, and when I turned around, the man looked at my phone and stopped smiling. He spun her chair and shoved her toward the van, and I was still reading his plate when he slammed the doors and
run after him, bro.
Peeled out with the dog chasing the bumper. I wolf whistled and the dog whipped around, and we sprinted for my car together. The van blew the red light and I stayed on it, the dog's nose smearing the glass. I talked to the police again. White van, north on 5th. I'm behind him. Two cruisers screamed past us at the bridge and boxed.
What the? This guy plays GTA way too
van,
much.
north on 5th. I'm behind him. Two cruisers.
What in the? How? What the? How is this even possible, bro? What? Like, are we seeing this? Like, are we genuinely seeing this? You could have gone into the other lane. If we're being so for real.
Screamed past us at the bridge and boxed him in. Officers dragged him out while another lifted her down, and he twisted around in the cuffs. This is a misunderstanding. She's my wife. An officer stood him against the van and asked one question. What's her name? His mouth opened and closed, and nothing came out.
Bro, if you're gonna kidnap someone, at least remember their name, bro.
He didn't know it. Another officer read her wheelchair tag into his radio. Her name was Grace. She was nonverbal, and she'd been missing from the nursing home since morning. I heard the officers speaking to each other. He's not her husband. He was a stranger who picked her because she couldn't call for help. I gasped and looked at the dog who'd saved her life. You're a hero. The dog tore loose, bolted past every officer, and jumped up with his paw against her leg, tail whipping. Grace wrapped both arms around him and buried her face in his fur. A random service dog. I was rattling my cup for money, feeling everybody judge me as they walked by, when a man in a suit pressed $50 into my hand. I was like you once and someone helped me. This is my last 50, but you need it more than I do. I started crying because this was enough money for days of food, but when I looked up to thank him, he was looking side to side, squinting at the nearby bushes and parks. His face got redder, and he suddenly bent back down. Wait, you're not a YouTuber? I shook my head no, and he instantly snatched his $50 back. Then why did I even give you any money? I thought someone would pop out with a camera and give me 10 grand for helping your filthy You tricked me. You should feel ashamed of conning people like this. He stormed away, muttering to himself.
Alright, Jimmy, where's my 20 bucks?
I sat there stunned because he only gave me money hoping this was a public stunt. Then I turned to my friend in the bushes with his camera and 10 grand in his pocket.
Well, maybe come out of the Maybe come out sooner? What if he walked away? What if he hopped into like a taxi and drove away?
My brother and I were bragging about the girls we met at the festival when he asked, "What was the name of your girl?" I smiled. "Ava. What about you?" He frowned. "Mine was also called Ava." I laughed, thinking it was a coincidence, until Ava started walking over, and we both waved at the exact same time. 18 years of sharing everything, but neither of us was ready to share this. I jumped in front of him, getting ready to mog. "Hey, Ava."
Getting ready to mog.
I pointed at her food. "That corn dog really sticks with me." I nudged her elbow, and when she laughed at my dumb dad joke.
What's the joke? Am I like stupid? What's the joke? There's no joke. Let me search this up. What's the joke in "Hey Ava, that corn really sticks with me"? There's no joke. How did I not get that?
I swore I was winning, but my brother grabbed her hand and dragged her to the nearest stand. After just a minute, he won her a stuffed frog. I ran over, and Ava propped her chin in her hand. "So which one of you is the fun brother?" We both said me at the exact same second, and it felt like a knife fight. She hugged us goodbye and whispered something into his ear. 10 minutes later, both our phones buzzed at the exact same second. Mine said, "You're the cute one. Meet me at Rosie's Diner tomorrow at 7. I raised my fist in the air to celebrate until I saw my brother grinning at his phone too. I grabbed it and my eyes widened. "Dude, she sent both of us the same text. Word for word." He smirked.
Dang.
"May the best man win." The next night, we walked into Rosie's Diner and slid into her booth shoulder to shoulder. I put my hands on the table. "Ava, you need to make a decision." Her eyes darted from him to me and back, then gave up. "Relax," she said. "I wanted to see which one of you wanted it more. You should have heard yourselves." She flailed her arms around to make fun of us. Me, like puppies." She slid the second menu across the table. "So which one of you is staying?" I slid it right back. "You never liked us. You just liked us fighting over you." Me and my brother stood up at the exact same second. "Neither of us are staying." She grabbed the edge of the table. "You're seriously both leaving?" My brother chuckled. 18 years, he said, holding the door open for me. He turned to her. "You were never beating that." Outside, my brother hooked his arm around my neck. "The best men won. Corn dogs on me, little man." My brother and
Dang, bro.
I felt my front tooth break the moment the mall cop slammed my head to the floor. "You think you can
For
keep
what?
coming in here and walking out with a backpack full of merchandise?" he said with his knee planted on my back. "Man, you're crazy. I just walked in the door. My backpack is empty."
His backpack is empty, bro. What are we doing?
I had never even been inside this mall before today, let alone this store, but now I was being accused of shoplifting and held against my will. Sure, that's what they all say. With that, he lifted my head up and slammed it against the floor again. The impact hit me like a flashbang, and I was mostly dead weight as he lifted me to my feet. "This is the last time I'm going to deal with you, punk. We're going to my office to find a more permanent solution to this." I finally came to my senses in a back room with a wall of security monitors.
Why is he tied to a chair? You couldn't just put him in handcuffs?
One pointed at virtually every corner of the mall. I had no idea why this was happening to me. Just then, the door to the hallway opened, and the security guard.
Wait.
Just then, the door.
What's genuinely stopping you? Wait, let me test this out. Alright. If you're gonna lift your arms up, you just spread your legs. Spread your legs. Stand up. You can walk around. Or you can just, lift your arms up like this. And bam! You can still walk around. Just with your arms tied up. Like, genuinely.
Door to the hallway opened, and the security guard walked in chuckling to himself. "Well, you're finally awake. Look, it's nothing personal, but I do a lot of stealing from that store myself, and I need someone to take the fall. That's where you come in. Cops are on their way to take you in for over $3,000 in theft. You just hang tight right there till they get here, huh?" He started laughing again.
I mean, I can't really blame him from stealing. How much does a mall cop get paid? They only get paid, like... Wait. How much do cops get paid? Dang, bro. $30,000 less than a normal cop. They get paid barely above the minimum wage. I would do the same thing as this guy if I was a mall cop.
And shut the door. Then I saw him on the monitors taking merchandise off of the racks and
How would you
stowing.
take it while the suspect is tied up? Like, think of a different time to strike. You could have taken anything. You should have taken all the stuff that you needed in the time, before you caught him.
Them in a bag. Next to the monitors, I noticed the fire alarm. A plan formed, and I sprang into action.
Why is the fire alarm a button instead of just on the wall?
I rocked back and forth until I was able to tip my chair over and smash the fire alarm with my head. The sirens sounded, and the sprinklers went off. After a few minutes, firefighters arrived with police officers, and the security guard bumbled in behind them. They busted into the office and found me laying on the floor. That psychopath behind you tied me up in here to frame me for theft. You gotta arrest him right now. Check the camera footage if you don't believe me. The security guard looked around for a second and then made a break for the door.
Don't run. It just makes you. That means that you definitely did it. You should have ran while they were distracted at the computer, bro.
He was tased and arrested. Once the footage was reviewed, my name was cleared and the mall gave me $500 in credit.
Didn't he steal $3,000?
I was eating hot dogs at the fire station, enjoying the first calm day in months, when we got a call from a woman panicking. There's a massive fire with children in danger. Please come now. I instantly dropped my food, and me and my crew drove over, ready to risk our lives. But when we pulled in, we saw 4 teenagers grilling a small barbecue in their yard. I thought we'd gotten pranked at first, but then a middle-aged woman frantically ran over. That's them. They're gonna burn my house down and kill everyone.
It's a grill, bro.
Spray them. I looked at the boys calmly flipping their hot dogs. Ma'am, called the fire brigade for a barbecue. We can press charges for wasting our time. I started climbing back into my truck, but she physically grabbed my hand and pointed at the smoke rising from the grill. Those kids are like 9. They can't be around.
They're teenagers. Wait, what do they look like?
Kids are like 9. They can't be around 5. Physically grabbed my hand and pointed at the smoke rising from the grill.
Okay, those kids do look pretty short though.
Those kids are like 9. They can't be around fire. I sighed.
I've been cooking noodle soup since I was 10, bro.
And slowly walked over. How old are you guys? We're 18.
Wait a second, what?
Slowly walked over. How old are you guys? We're 18.
This kid's not 18. The guy in the orange shirt? No. He looks like he's 11, bro.
18. Me and my dad go camping every month. I turned around to the Karen. I can't stop legal-aged adults from having a barbecue, ma'am. Plus, their hot dogs look perfectly grilled. But this time, Karen didn't say a word. She sprinted to our truck and ripped the water hose off the side. She aimed it at the barbecue, and my stomach instantly dropped. 2 trained firefighters could barely control this hose. Me and my crew ran to stop her, but she was already smashing the trigger. But no water was coming out because the water valve hadn't been twisted. Why isn't this stupid thing working?
An IQ too high? An IQ too high?
She kept pressing. We were inches away from her when suddenly I got an idea. No! I quickly stopped my crew and whispered to let her continue. Everyone looked confused until I pointed at her looking straight into the nozzle. This fire department is too cheap to even get a working hose. I'm reporting this, she yelled while the kids laughed at her. That's when I snuck around the truck and twisted the valve right as she pressed the trigger. 20 gallons of water instantly shot at her face, hitting her at 50 miles per hour.
Couldn't that just wait? If 20 gallons of water hit your head at 50 miles per hour, would your head get ripped off? A 167-pound impact. That's like, how much does steak the streamer? Well, I'm gonna have to measure this in streamers. Alright, how much does King Samalot weigh? How much does Mr. Beast weigh? That's about 1 Mr. Beast. That's 1 Mr. Beast hitting you at 73 feet per second.
force sent her flying back as she hit the ground, and I instantly closed the valve, laughing my off so hard I dropped to the floor. She lay there, still delirious about what planet she was on, looking just as soaked as she was stupid.
Because she got hit with a massive amount of Mr. Beast, bro.
I slowly got back in the truck, still laughing, and that's when the teenagers ran over with a plate of hot dogs. The truck, still laughing, and that's when the teenagers ran over.
Zoom in. He's not 18. There's no way on planet Earth that this kid in the back is 18. Physically, no way.
Over with a plate of hot
Neither is him in the blue shirt in the back.
dogs.
He looks like 10.
Thanks for dealing with her.
9.
I was eating hot dogs at the fire.
He actually looks 9.
I was counting crumpled bills for my overpriced New York rent when I shot up to snooze my annoying alarm for the 10th time that morning when I looked at the clock and suddenly realized my math final was about to start in 10 minutes. I thought I was screwed until a His Stories video notification popped up. The caption read, "Subscribe and something good will happen."
Subscribe and something good will happen. That's true. Subscribe, guys. Subscribe.
I laughed, why not, and subscribed. I immediately ran outside with 7 minutes left. I knew if I took my regular route, I'd be cooked. I looked around at the roofs and knew parkour was my only chance. I climbed up the nearest ladder and made it to the top of the roof. Okay, His Stories, pull through for me. I stared at the rooftop gap and jumped, but it took all my strength to actually land. And when I stood back up, my knees were already bleeding. But I crouched into a lunge and got ready to keep going, because if I missed the final, my mom would kill me anyway. I ran at the next gap, and this time I cleared 2 rooftops and started laughing like an idiot because I'd just discovered a cheat code. And when there was 60 seconds left until the final, I finally landed on the school building. I walked into class while the teacher was giving out the tests, and I should have just sat down and started writing. But my thumb was already building one more account because I had to know what subscribing to His Stories again would do. As soon as I hit the subscribe button, the intercom crackled. "Attention students, a pipe burst overnight. School is closed today." My classmates screamed, "How is this possible?" I showed them my phone. "It's all thanks to His Stories. Good luck comes to whoever subscribes to him. Subscribe and find out for yourself." I shot up to I was babysitting for the richest family. My engine died in the middle of My boy poked at his bag and whispered. I walked into the living room I was alone on shift. My best friend pointed at My dog Bruno accidentally placed his paws on my mouse and logged me onto a sketchy website I'd never seen. I instantly shooed him away, worried about viruses, but then I got an email that made me stop. "You win a full tour of the most advanced science lab in the country." The sender had a verified check, so I trusted it and arrived at the lab next morning. My heart pounded, still unsure if this was some elaborate scam. But when I pulled the lab doors open, a scientist was frantically slamming buttons on a giant tank. "Hey, I'm here for the tour." He instantly spun around. "Oh, this is actually good. You're gonna help me, kid." He pointed at the empty tank. "The AI clone I made of myself escaped. He malfunctioned and he's evil. We need to find him." I backed away thinking he was crazy, but then a note manifested itself inside the tank. "I see everything, Sambucha, including that kid with you. Come to the warehouse with a hard drive of your memories, or else." A picture of my dog Bruno locked in a warehouse was right there. My stomach turned as I realized this was real. An evil AI robot had kidnapped my dog. I went to call police, but Sambucha replaced the phone in my
sponsors like every other day.
hands with a laser gun. Then he strapped us to a drone before I could protest. My hands trembled on the laser's trigger as I accidentally cut a table in 2, but he laughed. "Don't worry, kid. He won't hurt your dog." We took off before I could say I was scared of heights, and though I wanted to scream, I closed my eyes and told myself I was doing this for Bruno. But then the drone spluttered. Sambucha yelled, "Crap! AI me is interrupting the signal," and we started crashing. We slammed into the bushes. I got up holding my head in pain, but then Sambucha smiled. "We're at the warehouse."
How? You didn't even move. You were just in the air.
We crept inside, and my legs instantly went numb. Bruno was locked in a cage and not moving. Me and Sambucha began sprinting towards him, but that's when AI Sambucha stepped out. My stomach dropped because they looked so alike. This was some sci-fi shit I only saw in movies. I immediately raised my laser gun to shoot him, but Sambucha placed his hand on my barrel. "Wait," he turned to his clone in tears. "You're me. Why are you doing this?" The clone smirked. "I'm not you, Sambucha. I'm Bamsucha, and I'm going to destroy
Bamsucha.
everything you built." Bamsucha turned towards Bruno. "Now give me the hard drive, Sambucha. Or else." I saw him pulling something from his pocket and knew I had to act. I raised my laser gun towards a rack of gorilla couches right above Bamsucha.
Why is there a gorilla couch above his head?
Bamsucha, and with shaking hands pulled the trigger. The red laser burned through the chain, and a gorilla couch started tumbling down. Bamsucha looked up just in time to see a 600-pound gorilla couch falling on him. The couch crashed, and I immediately ran and popped Bruno's cage open. I pressed my ear against Bruno's chest and breathed. He's just asleep. I carried him to the gorilla couch, where Bamsucha's head was sticking out from the bottom. Sambucha kicked Bamsucha's head. Another failed AI test. My dog Bruno.
Wow. I have no idea what I just watched. I mean, but it has a lot of views, so okay.